Ooh, another white boy with a podcast. Pronouns, gym bro. Another white boy with a podcast. You want to see the video? It went viral.
Hi gains gurus and welcome to TMGP, the Muscle Growth Podcast, episode 40. I am your host, Roscoe, and today we're welcoming Elouise Voget onto the show. Today we're joined by Elouise, a trailblazing health and fitness influencer, advanced personal trainer and nutritionist whose journey is nothing short of inspiring. Elouise made history in November 2024 by becoming the first South African to win the prestigious PCA Master Bikini World Champion title at the PCA World Championships in the Netherlands, cementing her status as a groundbreaking athlete in the world of competitive bodybuilding. Beyond her achievements on stage, Elouise is a dedicated mother, full-time professional, and passionate advocate for functional and rehabilitation training, empowering women, especially moms, to break barriers and realize their full potential. Her story is about resilience, transformation, and the relentless pursuit of greatness, proving that life's commitments are no obstacle to achieving your dreams. Get ready to be inspired by Elouise's remarkable journey, her insights on muscle growth, and her mission to uplift others both in and out of the gym. In today's episode, we dive into a wide range of insights. Some of the topics include Elouise's inspiring journey into the niche of prenatal and postnatal fitness for mothers, the importance of dieting, meal prepping, and consistency for long-term success, what it means to be a role model for your kids and lead by example, a behind-the-scenes look at Elouise's current training routine, her historic win as the first South African to take the PCA Bikini Masters title on the world stage, how she structures her cardio routine and stays stage ready, from UCLA pre-med to health sciences to opening the first EMS gyms in the Gulf, her unique academic and entrepreneurial journey, why carbs are not the enemy and how to make them work for you, supplement options for people with dietary restrictions, including gluten and dairy intolerance, what it's really like to compete abroad and prepare for international shows, a surprise guest appearance from TMGP's mascot, Nacho, balancing breastfeeding with competition prep and maintaining performance, how children often mirror their parents and how to use that positively, a reminder that it's never too late to start your fitness journey, and so much more. Get ready for a truly informative episode. Quick shameless self-plug, I'm starting to upload consistently on Reps with Roscoe on YouTube and Instagram, so check that out for some epic fitness edutainment content. A little disclaimer. This show does not contain medical advice. The views and opinions expressed by the guests on the Muscle Growth Podcast are their own and do not necessarily reflect my beliefs or the stance of the podcast. While we aim to provide valuable insights and information, it's important to approach all topics with critical thinking. I encourage you to do your own research, consider multiple perspectives, and form your own conclusions. Healthy discussion is always welcome, and I'm happy to engage with listeners in the YouTube comment section to continue the conversation. Lastly, don't forget to follow us on all major social media platforms, including Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and X. Find us at The Muscle Growth Podcast and myself at Reps with Roscoe. Welcome, Elouise, to the Muscle Growth Podcast, where we explore subjects related to muscle science and hypertrophy. I'm thrilled to have you join us for today's conversation. Can you briefly introduce yourself and your journey into the world of bodybuilding?
Well, hi guys. My name is Elouise Voget. So I've been in the fitness industry quite a long time, but I actually started my bodybuilding journey about 12 years ago. Actually, a little bit more. I stopped 12 years ago, had a couple of kids, moved abroad, and then last year, out of the blue, I decided to try my luck again at the age of 40.
Wow. How did you find it competing at 40 versus previously?
Quite honestly, this time around, I enjoyed the journey a lot more. I think patience, also muscle maturity. So yeah, definitely very different. A lot harder. I'm not gonna lie. you have to put a lot more work into it. The diet has to be a lot cleaner than in your 20s, where I always say you dieted for a week and then all of a sudden you had a flat stomach.
I'm still trying to get that. You must teach me. Anyway.
That's the one thing I got going for me is the thin stomach, the small
Well,
stomach.
that's amazing. But you're being very humble. Can you give us a bit more of a background from last year? There's a lot that happened.
Yes, there is. So I had a very good season. I was very, very blessed. I did quite a few shows last year just because I wasn't sure if I could still do it. So I started at the bottom, did a couple of IFBB shows, did a couple of PCA shows, did the Shay show, and I was quite fortunate to go to Worlds for PCA, representing South Africa, and I won the world title. I was the first South African to win that title. So yeah,
That's an incredible, incredible achievement. What was the exact name of that title?
so it's the PCA Worlds, and I'm the Bikini Master World Champion.
Congratulations on that. That's a huge achievement.
Thank you very much. I'm stoked. I didn't expect it at all.
Well, especially considering that you were just, as you say, trying to get back into it. That's not really fair to everyone else who's been, Yeah, that's hysterical.
Listen, a little luck and a little perseverance, I guess.
Oh, it must have been a lot of perseverance to get to the top. Everyone else listening to this is like, damn, that they're trying so hard and everything, and then you went off for 12 years and came back and won. That's incredible.
Listen, in all fairness, though, I never went out of shape. I might have not be comp ready, but even through my pregnancies, I always maintained. So, in all fairness to other people, it depends on where you start.
Absolutely. I remembered you. Do you remember the quote that you said when I met you after you won the Shea Best about you have two states? Do you remember what those states were?
I'm either pregnant or ripped. It's
Yeah,
probably that. Yeah, that's
that's the
that
one.
sounds like me. But
That's
it's true.
exactly
I
it.
tell
Yeah.
people I'm very extreme. I take things to the extreme. I'm either going to be pregnant and really look like a whale, or I'm going to be ripped. There's no in between with me.
No, that's amazing. So your main focus and niche is pre and postnatal moms. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, and is that for training, lifestyle, health? Why that niche, and what do you do for these moms?
So basically, it didn't start like that. So when I started with my degree back in the day in sports science, I predominantly actually focused on athletes, sport specific nutrition and sport specific training. But as the years gone by and me becoming a mom myself, I just realized that there is a very big gap in the market for mums, especially mums that are either trying to get pregnant, breastfeeding, postnatal, and it just seems like there's not enough knowledge or even people to work with these mums, not just to get in shape, but also moms that maybe want to become athletes and don't know how you do that while breastfeeding, or when can you start after a cesarean, for example. So it just became a passion of mine, if that makes sense.
That's amazing. And how many moms have you helped to this day? Do you know? Too
No,
many.
I'm a little too old for that. No, I've been doing
So,
no, I've been
okay.
working with mums for like the last 8 years. So yeah, there's quite a few.
Okay, brilliant. And I'm sure they're all super happy and stoked to have had you as a coach. Nothing but good reviews.
I hope so. I got mommies competing as well.
That's exciting. How many of them did that have had their kids kind of go and watch them?
You know what? You will be surprised that a lot of the older mummies, children are actually teenagers. One of my best friends, her daughter is like 16 years old and actually does her makeup and her hair. So a lot
That's
of
so
them do
cute.
come watch. Mine is still a little small. I would have loved to
Yeah,
bring them, but the shows are too long for them to stay
yeah.
there the whole time.
No, for sure, for sure. Um, and I think you wanted to show the medal
Man,
when we had our pre-boarding. Do you have it?
I can't, unfortunately, because it's
You can't.
framed. It's completely framed.
Okay. All right. All right. No worries.
But I can take a picture and I can show you. But unfortunately, I got it framed and it's hanging like on the
Oh, I
wall.
see. No worries. No worries. You forgot about this podcast,
I
clearly.
did. I
No, it's
did.
okay. All right. And yeah, it's a huge achievement to be the first South African ever to win that title. Was that in that class or the whole show, the World Championships?
If I'm not mistaken myself, it's the whole world champion.
Wow, for the
Um,
PCA.
for the PCA. I think I'm the
Wow.
first South African that got a world championship. And then logically my lineup as well.
Wow, that's incredible. Can you tell us a little bit about that prep for PCA Universe? What did you do differently from that versus Shay versus other ones, and how did that one come together so well? Not saying that other ones didn't.
No, but it's true though. My conditioning was different for Worlds than for my other shows. So a couple of things to bear in mind. I've been prepping the whole year. So when I stood on the world stage, that was already 10 months into my prep. So that's the first thing to consider. That was 10 months of already prep and also 6 shows later. So I just conditioned on top of conditioning on top of conditioning. But the biggest change was so for the whole year, I was prepping alone with the assistance of my husband. That is amazing with this. But for Worlds, I decided to invest into a prep coach. So somebody that is non-biased in the sense of logically, my husband is biased towards me. He's my husband. He's scared of sleeping on the couch. Um, but for Worlds, I decided to invest into a prep coach, and she's been phenomenal, and she's been with me every step of the way.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you go together with your husband towards, or did he stay and watch and look after the kids?
No, he
I
came
came
with
with.
me. There's no way I need my right hand man there to carry my bags for me and my medal.
Yeah, there we go. Amazing. I'm sure he was super stoked with the result and everything.
It was very sweet because when I watched the video footage afterwards, he was he was filming me the whole time. But when I got announced as the overall winner, the phone started shaking and he dropped it, and you could hear his voice. He was like
Oh,
almost crying. So that was pretty
oh,
amazing.
no, it's giving me goosebumps. That's so sweet. That's so cute. And the kids, did they watch maybe like the post thing where they get to see you
Yes,
win?
so my husband, we did a live like little WhatsApp feed. So logically the kids saw it as well. My daughter, bless her little heart, she's 6 years old, and I'm constantly posing in the house in my bikini. So she's already learned my routine. So she usually does is the same thing. She walks around and does like a little posing routine as well.
That's so cute. So do you think she'll probably follow in your
I
footsteps?
hope so. I hope this is something she would enjoy because she's not a shy little girl and she's got a cute little body.
That'll be amazing if she does follow in your footsteps. I'm sure you can do a show together. That'll be
I
really
know,
cool.
right? Imagine. I'll be like, Master, Master, Master.
Yeah, you could do with your husband, with your whole family. It could be a family event.
We actually are doing a show together. This will be our first year in 15 years competing together.
That's so cute. Did you guys meet through bodybuilding?
So, funny story. He used to be my personal trainer.
Oh wow, okay.
And then I came and I started training in very short shorts and a little crop top. And yeah, here we are, 15 years later, married with 2 children.
Wow, well, congratulations to that. Congrats for that. And he's still your trainer as well as the new coach.
He is, bless his heart. He's
Wow.
unfortunately stuck with me. And even if he dies, I'll haunt him.
I'm sure. On the couch as well.
Yes, on the couch with the dog.
Oh, well, there, he's got a companion. That's okay. So the training and getting fit during pregnancy, that's a big topic I would love to chat to you about. I think that's something that's missed, which is crazy because there's so much academic literature on the health benefits of exercise. There's less so maybe when pregnant, but I think you could extrapolate on it that it would be good for first the mother as well as the unborn child. There is data to support that as well. Also having easier births and all that kind of thing. I'm sure you will know way more about all that. So please do enlighten the audience.
Yes, so first of all, you need to understand whatever you do prior to getting pregnant, you can continue during your pregnancy, depending if there's no complications or your comfortability level. So, for example, if you were a jogger or a marathon runner prior to pregnancy, you can continue that through your pregnancy. Okay, but I wouldn't suggest you start a whole new routine if you've never trained before. That being said, you can do weight training and static cardio and things like that. Not only is it a health benefit for yourself, but as you stated as well for your unborn child, but also for giving birth. What people don't understand is that moms in general that exercise give easier birth than moms that don't, because one, your abdominal muscles are tighter, your pelvic floor is stronger, and also it makes pregnancy easier for you and post recovery.
Okay. So there's a lot of reasons to kind of train while pregnant.
Yes.
It'll help you and
Yes.
your baby.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Remember, each trimester is a little bit different and each case dependent is different from mom to mom. But in generally, if you do it safe, consistently, you can train till the day you give birth. I trained up and literally the night before I gave birth.
Didn't you have a story about being on top of Table Mountain or something the day before?
That's advice nobody should ever listen to. But yes, so I decided to go hiking with my sister. I blame her.
It's her
And
fault.
hiked up the mountain, and then the next morning I went into premature labor.
Oh, hey, well, at least it was the next morning.
Listen, it was quite funny because my husband was on a fishing trip,
Yes, yeah.
and this was 2 months prior to giving birth. So when we called him saying that I'm having contractions, they actually thought that I was joking. They thought I was lying. So he was like, "Nah, it's fine. I'll just keep fishing." And then, within an hour, I was completely dilated, and he actually rushed into the emergency room. He still had his fishing stuff on. And all I could remember was, "Oh, he stinks like fish. Get away from me."
So he had at least had a successful day.
But he made it. He didn't catch a fish, but he did catch a baby.
But if you said he smelled like fish, so I'm saying he must have caught some fish. No, he let them all get away.
No, no, no. So no, that it wasn't. Yeah, it
Uh,
wasn't there yet. They had to rush all the way from Muizenberg back to Panorama. So it's quite a distance.
okay. Well, I'm glad that he caught a baby. That's better.
Yeah.
Definitely a happier moment. Or actually, I don't know if he's a good fisherman or not. Good. Is,
Well, remember that's the difference between a fisherman and an angler. Yeah, angler and a fisherman catches fish, and an angler just throws.
okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Ah.
So I think you wanted to talk a little bit about time constraints like job, raising kids, prep, getting your body ready for and fitness ready comes second for a lot of people. But how can you mitigate that and kind of ensure that your health and fitness it should probably come first? Because if you're sick and things, you can't really do the things you need to do to be a great mom, unless obviously it's concerns you can't really help. But for the most part, I think a lot of people could benefit from exercise, from getting good nutrition, from being healthy. And then you could probably be a better mom because you're healthy. You can, do the things that are required. It's a very difficult job, if not the most difficult one. And like you said as well, you could also have a regular job as well. So you've got so many jobs to do. How can you get enough time and motivation to kind of do everything that's needed?
Listen, first of all, we have to be realistic when it comes to goal setting and what we are capable of doing and not doing. What I mean by that is logically, it's a lot easier if you don't have a family commitments and you can spend the whole day in the gym and money is not an issue. But let's be fair, that is not the reality. So you have to work within your constraints, but I think the most important thing that I can tell people is you need to plan. You need to plan literally everything. That's the only way you can stay consistent. So, in my case, my family is most important. I will never put prep above my family whatsoever. So, if my daughter has a school recital to go to, gym will come second to me, but I will make time for it. It might just be at a later stage or while my kids are sleeping. You just have to make it work. So the best thing I could say is, first of all, let's start with nutrition. I cannot express this as probably the most important advice I can give anybody, and that's meal prepping. You need to learn to meal prep. In our house, not only do I meal prep, my husband meal preps, my kids meal prep, my dog meal preps, and if I could meal prep my fish, I would do that too. Um, so we cook enough food in this house to sustain ourselves for 3 days. And then I make sure that I've got a freezer full of 3 days worth of food as well. So I only cook twice a week. That's it. So that's most important, because if there's no food in that fridge, I promise you'll grab anything you can find. And that's the biggest problem. And then secondly, you need to be consistent. So what I usually tell clients is, if you are lucky enough to have a work that's always the same time, try to make your workouts the same time as well, because your body works like a machine. It likes to do the same thing over and over. So for example, if you wake up 5 o'clock every morning, you'll see all of a sudden on a weekend, you'll start waking up at 5 o'clock as well, because that internal clock kicks in. So it's about consistency and also just planning your week ahead. And then the most important thing that you have to remember is your kids are copy and paste of you. You can't expect your kids to eat healthy if you sit there eating a burger. So with my kids, they're copy paste of what we eat, and they also understand that the value of having, for example, a cheat meal or a sweetie comes on the weekends. It's not something we do every day.
And what's your favorite cheat meal?
So with me, I'm pretty I'm pretty easy when it comes to food. I think if my mood changes, so right now, if like what's the first thing I'll eat after my next competition? A croissant. I want a croissant. And that's it.
Almond one, or chocolate, or just plain?
Plain. Absolutely plain.
And
Nothing on it, just as is.
fresh, hopefully.
Mm. But in general, I think my cheat would probably be, I like salty things. So I like making like a snack
Mm.
platter, like with crackers and biltongs and jams. I want to pick and build my own little thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Hmm,
I also like a good platter with biltong and
hmm.
cheese and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned consistency, the value of meal prepping, the benefits like no snacking, and then also being a role model to your kid. I think that's you'd think it's all obvious, but I guess it kind of gets lost in the day-to-day things when there's so much on. You think, oh, the burger or the McDonald's or whatever is much easier, and I'm sure it is. But like you said, there's long term things. Your kid sees you. They eat the McDonald's obviously that you got for them. And if it's a once every now and again thing, that's not a problem. But if it's an everyday kind of thing, it can definitely stack up and become
Yeah.
the norm, which is not where you want to be. So, can you tell us a little bit about your diet, your training? You've mentioned you meal prep, but can you tell us a little bit more about the diet, like high protein, probably meat,
Yes.
carbs, uh, fats, all that kind
Okay,
of stuff?
so my diet does depend on where I am in my prep. So, for example, with me, I do weekly check-ins with my coach, and depending on what my check-in will look like, she will maybe change my meal plan for the week to follow. And then logically, leading up to competition, my diet will change as well. So, for example, in general, I eat a very high protein fat diet, which is not very common with female athletes to have a high fatty diet, but with my body type, it works very, very well. And then logically, carbohydrates, what works for your body. So predominantly, I live off rice and rice cakes. These are, and also my porridges in the morning, everything from Weetabix to oats. These are my carbohydrates. Um, and then for my protein sources, I eat a lot of eggs, a lot of fish, and a lot of chicken up until show day. I never cut those out. Predominantly red meat I only use for refeed days. So if I feel I'm dropping a little too fast, my coach will give me a steak to refeed on.
Okay, that sounds like a
Yeah,
yummy diet. I mean, I also
yeah.
eat eggs and chicken and all that basically every day. The red meat
Mhm.
part's interesting, but I mean, it makes sense. It's a bit. Would you say it's more satiating for you?
Funny enough, I don't really care for steak. I really love my eggs, and I love my carbs. So long as my carbs never gets cut, I'm happy. But luckily, I have to be honest with my diet. I never starve. My coach never depletes me like that. I'm pretty consistent, and because I prep so long, the nice thing about it is we don't have to make major changes because I just kind of stay in condition.
Yeah, micro
Exactly, micro
adjustments.
adjustments. Like my calories always stays the same. We might just adjust which protein source we use or where we put my
Mm.
carbohydrates.
Where are those calories at,
So,
more or less?
mm,
Because you said they don't
so we
change that
don't really
much.
calorie count because we've been doing it for prepping for so long. But I would say in general, right now, I'm probably around 1800 right now. 1800, yeah. Mm,
That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. Okay, okay. And your body uses it
yeah,
well for sure, because I think a lot of other people, females in particular, at 1800, that would be probably a bit of a
yeah,
surplus actually, and that's your ripped physique,
yeah.
like more or less, and then maybe 1500 just
Yeah,
before a show,
I would drop
something like
down
that.
to about 1400 right before a show.
That's still not that little. Like I know males who shouldn't be doing this, and again, I'm not saying it's a good idea, but really big guys who are cutting
Yeah,
too aggressively, in my opinion, on a
yeah,
1,000 calories, which is a
yeah,
really bad idea, really, really bad. But that's really interesting.
yeah.
1,800 calories, you can do a lot with that.
I never go pretty low. Um, I think also you have to think of the body type because quite a lean person in general. If my calories goes to in a deficit, unfortunately, I start losing muscle mass. So I can lose body fat quickly, but I can also lose muscle very quickly, and I'll just become a very emaciated. So this time around, we're trying to keep me as full and as round as possible, keeping those glycogen stores nice and full.
That makes sense. Sorry, the internet went a bit bad there for a second. Did you get my question on how many eggs you eat?
So with me, in all fairness, when I do my high fatty diet, I eat per day about 6 to 8.
Wow.
Right now I'm only on, I'll count for you. My meals are right in front of me. So
Nice.
I'm in about 4 right now today.
Okay.
Like,
But
yeah.
to go all the way up to eight, that's a lot. I thought I was good on six. Now I'm like, hey, I need to actually get eight. That's shocking.
And
Maybe
that's not
10.
even all my fats. That's just my
Yeah.
eggs. That's not my
Yeah.
avocado. That's not my nut butters. Nothing like that still included.
What else? Can you continue on that list? So you got your eggs, got your avocado, you got your nut butter. What other fats do you use?
Um, Olive oil, and then logically, my only fats that you'll get is from your whey as well, so your protein.
Mm.
But that's it. That's the only fat sources. I don't do cheat meals whatsoever. Um, so I don't.
Just a sweetie on the weekend, you said.
Not even.
No, not. Oh, not even. That's just for the kids.
That's just for the kids. I don't.
Okay.
I don't cheat. I haven't had a cheat meal since December.
I was expecting you to say since like, oh, whoopsie, since about 12 years ago or something. I was going to say, and that's why you're a world champion.
But but even December, it was just a
No,
refeed for
no.
after the comp.
Okay, no, fair enough, fair enough. That makes sense. But that's still, we're in April now, or yeah, we're still in April, yeah, yeah. So that's still very, very long to not have had a single cheat meal. I think that's very different to most 99.9999, like all the way to like the end recurring people. Like most people have one or two cheat meals a week. So that's very, very impressive. Do you just not have a desire to have one, or is it just not part of the calories, so it just isn't a thing?
To me, it's just because I'm stubborn, and a gold medal is a lot more worth to me than a cheat
Than
meal.
one cheat meal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
and
And and uh, and
yeah.
Ozzy, does he have a cheat meal?
So Aussie right now is not in competition prep yet.
Everyone's a cheat
So
meal.
so
I'm kidding.
he gets his cheat meal with the kids. They have their own little snack cupboard. I hate
Ah,
it because Aussie already has a six pack and he's not even
yeah,
prepping. And
yeah.
here I am killing myself just to keep my six pack.
Fair enough, fair enough. He must lock that safe. Or for you, it's not necessary, but for
Yeah.
most people, it would be necessary to kind of lock it away from the person who likes to snack. But that sounds like it's not you.
Listen, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I want to snack, but I've got my coping mechanism. So I make myself a little protein cake, and I promise you, it tastes just like a cake. And so long as I get that or a rice cake, I promise you, I'm good to
Hmm.
go.
Is that like a cake made with whey, casein, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I've got a delicious whey that's like caramel and a rich chocolate flavor. So all I do is I take two
Mm.
eggs and I beat that with a little bit of baking powder just to make it rise. And you
Hmm.
just that, and you pop it into the air fryer, and I promise you, it looks like a
Into the
brownie.
air fryer as well.
Yeah,
It looks like what?
a brownie.
Oh wow, okay. That sounds delicious.
I
I
love
think I
it.
must try it.
I promise
Very
you.
nice. Um, and then your training. So that's more or less your diet. Gone protein, done fats, done carbs. I'm happy with that. Your training. Let's talk a little bit about your training.
Okay, so I train very intensely. I'm not gonna lie to you. Right now, I don't train like the average person. So I train
I'm sure you don't. No, I never. I was gonna. I actually had you pinned here as an average trainer. I was
average
just gonna
20
write very
minutes,
average. 20 minutes. I was thinking 15 at most.
no cardio.
No cardio. Hey, don't call out my program here. This isn't about me.
I love it. Right now, I train twice a day. Um, I train 7 days a week. I do not take a day off for recovery. I use my recovery day as my cardio days. So it's an active recovery. So what I generally do is I can't, because of my schedule, I don't have the leniency to say, okay, I'm going to weight train at 5 o'clock in the morning and do cardio in the afternoon. My schedule's all over the place. So whenever I can get to the gym, I'll do my first weight training session. Sometimes time doesn't allow it and I have to do my cardio straight after. Or if I'm lucky, I'll come back in an hour or two and do my cardio. But there's always an hour weight training, or let's say 45 minutes. And then there's at least an hour to an hour and a half worth of cardio every day.
You said an hour to an hour and a half of cardio every day.
Yes, sir. If you want to eat 1800 calories, you gotta work for it.
Damn, that's a lot. But that actually makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So that's a lot of cardio. I've talked to a
Yeah,
lot of bodybuilders
every
on the show,
day.
and none of them have said an hour and a half of cardio a day. And you do that every day, and you train is that you mentioned that you train twice
Yes.
per day in our onboarding
So,
call? Is one of those the
yes.
cardio, one of those or is it the same time? Okay, so one cardio, one gym.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I train at least 2 to 2.5 hours in the gym every day.
Sure, that's a lot. And sorry, I might have missed it. Did you give your split?
So my split, all honesty, is what I got time for.
Okay.
In a perfect world, you would plan out your week, but unfortunately, because of my lifestyle and the way I work and with my kids, I don't have that luxury. So what I usually do is I always start my week with my biggest muscle groups. So that will either be my glutes and my hamstrings, or my glutes and my quads. And then the next day will be usually shoulders. And then the following day again, it will be glutes again. I do at least lower body 3 times a week. And then upper body, I will do another 3 days, and then I'll do 1 day just of cardio.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. And cardio, walking, running, elliptical, bike.
So my cardio is pretty same every time. So I go hard. I don't do the typical bodybuilding, very low intense cardio. So I either do an uphill walk for an hour on an 18 incline, but I walk it. I'm talking about level 4 to 6. Like I must sweat. And then
Yeah.
either I'll do the stepper also for an hour, and I'll do that on level 12 to 14.
And what are you doing during that hour? Are you listening to a podcast, listening to music? And why is it this podcast? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know. This book, I definitely listen to this one because it's
Yeah.
the most
Yeah.
educational.
There we go. Good stuff.
So I actually watch Netflix. When I do like an hour worth
Okay.
of cardio, I watch Netflix. And
That's
right now I'm
amazing.
watching The Resident.
Okay. Okay. Is it good?
Listen, I like all the medical drama, so it entertains me and it keeps my mind off things. I love music. I train with music, but when you're on like cardio for an hour, it gets
No,
pretty
it'll get a
dull.
lot. Okay. That's actually a great way to do it. So to everyone listening, watch your Netflix. If the staff come and kick you off, just you can't tell them that you're world champion, but you can. So
Ah, hopefully I can get a better title this year.
what's up from world champion?
So the next one is in 4 weeks. So
Okay. Good luck.
thank you. Woo. So I'll be competing for South Africa at the PCA Universe in
Oh, yes.
the
Universe is
UK.
bigger than world. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. And it's also a pro AM show. So they'll be giving out pro cards.
Sorry, what does AM mean?
So
Pro amateur.
yeah, so it will be a pro amateur show. So basically you'll try to compete for your pro card.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Is that what the AM stands for? Amateur.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, good luck with that. I think you'll get it. I hope so. And would that make you one of the few South African pros in that division, if not the only,
I
at
think
that federation?
I think if I do get it, I think I'll be the only one. I'm not sure there's another bikini master in South Africa pro card holder. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, good luck, and if you are the first, fantastic, and if not, then the more competition, the better.
Listen, we'll keep trying till we get it. I tell people I'm not going anywhere. If I don't get it this year, we'll keep pushing for next year. We'll just keep pushing.
100%, 100%. You mentioned now briefly that you like to watch a medical series. That ties quite nicely into you were at UCLA pre-med, is that correct? And
Yes.
then you changed to sports health sciences, and
Yes, sir.
you did the hospital work and open gyms. Can you just quickly chat a little bit about all that?
So basically, after school, I went to university in the US. I went all the way there. I stayed there for almost 10 years. Can you believe it? Came on holiday to South Africa, met my husband, and then just decided
Couldn't get
through,
enough.
yeah, I know, right? And then meeting him, being in the fitness industry and that sort of thing, my passions started changing, and I started realizing that I like the sports and health sciences more behind it than so much being in a hospital. And from there, we moved to the Middle East. We were the first people to open up an EMS studio in the whole of the Gulf. And we were
Wow.
blessed enough to open 3 studios within 2 years. And it was large. It was about 20 machines operating in one go.
Wow. Sure.
Yeah. And
That's
then,
incredible.
yeah, so that was an amazing journey. And then unfortunately, COVID hit and we got stuck in South Africa on holiday. And then I got pregnant. And then I just realized that I've been abroad too long and I want to be around family. I want my children to know their grandparents. And we decided to rather stay in South Africa.
Wow. And look how well this turned out for you. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in our pre-onboard like kind of call, you mentioned that a lot of women are scared of carbs, and I think you mentioned that you're an ex-vegan and
Yes.
allergic to dairy.
Yes, sir.
Is that
So,
all? So no
so
cheese for you.
nope. So
No.
unfortunately, I don't crave chocolates and ice creams and cakes because I'm allergic to them anyway. So I don't have that craving that most people do. But that also being said, because I was raised vegan my whole life, I only started eating animal products when I met my husband and when I started getting into bodybuilding because being a vegan bodybuilder is very hard, not in terms of finding your protein sources, but you have to eat such a large quantity of food to make up for that lack of protein that it's very hard to maintain. Um, yeah, so I started slowly progressing into fish. That's why still till today, I'm not a fan of red meat because my body's just not used to it. I will still stick to eggs or fish or chicken, something a little bit more lighter. And then also, because I'm deathly allergic to dairy, my world was very small. Back in my day, there wasn't a lot of supplements I could use because everything was concentrated from milk proteins. Now, you got so many isolate ways. You got, and also even people that are gluten intolerant, you got so many options right now. Like there isn't an excuse not to use it.
Absolutely. And it's amazing that they've come up with solutions like the whey isolate that you mentioned, because, like you said, a lot of people can use that are maybe dairy intolerant. So that's very exciting. And it's very similar to the story with my girlfriend. When we met, she was vegetarian, and I think she made me bacon once, and then she had a piece of bacon, and then that was the end of her vegetarian days. I think it's much
Biltong.
easier for us. Yeah, Boltong, exactly. Yeah, her dad's actually a professional hunter, so we actually this Boltong I've got here is something he shot. So very cool.
Okay, I can top that as well. So I bought my own biltong machine and I make my own biltong as
Oh
well.
wow, amazing! Do you kill the animal though?
I grew up on a working farm,
Okay,
so I grew
nice.
up with slaughtering and all those sort of things. So that's pretty
Sure.
normal for me.
Wow,
That's
hectic.
that's why I became vegan because
Oh, I
when
see.
you know
Yeah,
where
when
your
you see
patty
it.
comes from,
Yeah.
not so fun.
No, it's not fun. No, 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 it's not. It's hectic, but it is delicious
Yeah,
and
true.
nutritious as well.
True indeed.
Yeah. So, so can you tell us a little bit about competing abroad, the hotel prep, how to get stage ready, and what you can travel with, and the long hours, the flights, all that kind of stuff?
Okay, so competing abroad is very different than competing in South Africa. I'm not going to lie, just for a couple of things. Um, Depending on the federation, I've only competed in two federations abroad, which is IFBB and PCA, so I can only speak for them. Um, the difference is, let's say, the lineup. So, first of all, when you're prepped for a show abroad, you need to know what you're prepping for. Make sure that the condition you bring to stage is what they are looking for there. Your mandatory poses is exactly what they're looking for. Even your attire is what they're looking for. Um, then other things to consider is logically you're not in your own country, so you're gonna have to figure out how to do your meal preps there and what is available to you. And if there's things you can travel with, do take it with. So for example, I travel with my supplements. My whey protein, I take 2 bags worth of that. I make sure I take it with me. I even take pre-workout with me. Um, I take rice cakes, lots. I know you can find them anywhere, but the last thing you want to do when you land on that side is looking for food. Who's that? Is that your cat?
Sorry, can you? Oh, it is indeed. Shush, boy.
Cute
You
man.
got to be quiet, okay? Sorry,
Oh.
he's feeling needy. Sorry. Please carry on.
So try to pack as much in your bag as possible. Peanut butter, anything that you think that you're going to need straight when getting off the plane, make sure it's in your bag. As for carry-on, Airlines are very lenient towards athletes, especially if you just bring a letter to state that you are competing abroad. I've got a fitness cooler box. Wait. This little guy that I take on a plane with me, and it can fit my meal. It's got abs,
It's got
just like me.
abs.
I like it, and it's pink. So this little
Very
guy
cool.
has ice packets inside, and then I take as many meals on the plane as what I can, because logically you can't eat the airplane food. It's full of sodium and salt, your balloon. So I take all my meals in there. You can take whatever you like. The only thing you can't take is forget about honeys. They will confiscate your honey, so don't even try to take honey on an airplane. Um, and then you can't take water as well. So just take an empty bottle, and then when you get through airport security, then fill up your bottle, especially when you are under air cabin pressure. Make sure to get your water in.
Do you, in Cape Town, do you have special filters on your water, or do you just drink the municipal water straight?
I drink the municipal water straight. I'm cheap like that, okay? But I do bikini on a budget, okay? Wherever I can like save money, I will.
That's
So
fair enough.
this is my little go-to. I use flavored water drops.
Yeah.
And I pop that in my water just for something different, so I'm not always tasting the same thing.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, no, that's great. And then one of the other points you mentioned that you wanted to chat about was breastfeeding while competing. Can you chat a little bit
Yes.
about that?
Um, I think it's very important for moms to realize that once you have babies or once you are pregnant, it doesn't mean that life is over for your body in terms of, oh, you'll never be in shape again, or you might never look the way you did before. Don't get me wrong, I don't look the same as what I did when I was 20 years ago. But I love my body more now than I did when I was in my 20s. And it was due to my pregnancies. My body changed, but for the better. So, what I mean by that is, I had two cesareans. There's no such thing as you can't have a flat stomach again. You just have to rehabilitate those abdominal muscles, rework them again, train smarter, and the same for breastfeeding. I breastfed for 6 years nonstop. And last year I did 3 competitions while breastfeeding. Only after the third competition, I actually stopped breastfeeding just because my body fat got so low. It was just impossible to produce milk and compete. But I did completely fine for the first 3 shows. I donate milk. There's no such thing as you can't do it. You just have to be a little bit smarter in the way you do it.
That makes sense. And what percent body fat did you compete at? And what are you now, and what are you looking to compete at in 4 weeks?
So to be fair with my prep coach, she does not care about the figures. So we don't do calipers in terms of my body fat. I mean, to be fair, once you get to this stage of competing, you should be pretty consistent. It doesn't really matter what your body fat is, so long as your composition looks correct. But in general, I go pretty low. I go to about 4% body fat when I compete.
Wow, that is very low. That's very, 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 very low, especially for a female.
Yeah,
That's like a male, and a shredded male
yeah,
at that as well.
yeah.
Wow. Sure. I
But
don't think
but
most females can get to that.
But to be fair, my body fat percentage in general is pretty lean. So my
Yeah.
average body fat is 12%. I mean, you've seen me. I'm a very lean girl. So I always say what my 4% might look like might be your 10%. So it's that's why I never concentrate on those figures, because it's not a true depiction of what the physique looks like. I am generally more leaner, but you don't need to be that lean at all. If I'm on 10%, I might look like somebody that's on 20%, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Mm.
But then again, if that person that you mentioned, that hypothetical one who's 10%, maybe if they went to 4%, then maybe they would compete with you to win so maybe
Exactly.
that's the difference. So that's all the kind of questions I think that I wrote down from our onboarding. You did mention a little bit about Ozzy, your husband, also being fit. When's his next? And you said you guys are both competing in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
What is
No, no,
that
no.
show? Oh,
So,
sorry.
so I'm competing at PCA in 4 weeks. So it's an
Mhm.
invite only show. So
Okay.
only two athletes from South Africa was invited, myself and my fellow teammate Melissa. She's also competing, different divisions. And then Ozzy and I will stand our first show together for Titans PCA, which is in September.
Okay, that's exciting. Is that a couple's pose? Oh
No,
no,
I
just
wish.
okay. But
I
there are
wish.
those. You guys should
There
do that.
There is, but only one federation does it.
Okay.
IFBB right now is the only federation that does the couples thing.
Okay. Okay. And that's a different. Obviously, you
Mm,
can't be going for a pro in multiple federations.
mm-mm.
Okay.
Uh-uh.
Okay.
But Ozzy will stand his he will do the Shea Best show. So he will prep for August for Shea Best, and
Okay.
then we'll prep together and we'll do PCA together after that.
That's very exciting. Well, good luck to him. Good luck to you. And
We got
then,
matching
yeah.
outfits.
Oh, really? But
Yes,
then you
we
guys
do.
really have to you have to do some couples thing, even if it's just for fun. I mean,
You
the outfits are going to go to waste otherwise.
Listen, you do realize Ozzy and I are like two stick insects. We got two left feet. We've got no rhythm. We've got no sway. We all look like robots on stage, but we'll try our best.
That could be a thing. You could do a robot dance or something. That could be quite funny. Yeah. No, that's hysterical. And then to kind of finish off, do you have any closing words of wisdom that you'd like to say to the audience for maybe a mum as well who's looking to kind of get into shape, looking for that kind of final words of advice from the world champion PCA bikini master?
Uh, I think the best advice I can give any mum is it's never too late. You don't have to go as far as I go. I think just set yourself a goal. You have to start. I promise you, you're not going to remember the beginning. The beginning is always the hardest, but 4 months down the line, you're going to look back and you won't remember that start. You'll just see the results you have right now. And consistency. I cannot express to you. It took me 12 months to get here. I didn't wake up like this,
That's not very
but you
long.
just have, it is long.
It's
12
not.
months is
That's
a
not
long
long.
time.
That's not long. So it's not long.
But remember, that's 12 months of
Yeah,
prepping.
yeah,
Okay. So that's not normal,
yeah.
healthy
I get
diet.
you. I get
That's
you.
12
That's a
months.
very
Yeah.
long prep in that sense.
Yes.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yes. But consistency. I always say don't look for quick
Yeah,
fixes. Look at the long-term results. Don't look at what you'll look. I always say I can't wait till my next show
yeah,
because I just want to see what I'm going to look like then.
yeah.
You know what I mean? If I look like this now, what will I look like in a year? Always look ahead. Set yourself goals and try to achieve them and set another goal and keep chasing those goals.
No, I love that. And sorry, what I meant to say is like I don't want someone who's out of shape now to be like, okay, in 12 months I'm going to be like looking like you shredded and stuff. Like the caveat is that you've always been fit, but you've been prepping
Yes,
for 10 months now, so it's not an
correct.
overnight thing. I get you 100%. But there are a lot of people that here, oh, it took me 3 months to get this body, but meanwhile it's been 30 years of hard work and then three
Yeah.
months of maybe more intense, fewer carbs or fewer calories, and an
Yes.
intense 3 months or 10 months or whatever. And then they get demotivated in 3 months. They're not looking like a Men's Health magazine cover, and they're like, oh, well, it doesn't work for me, and they give up. So I love that you big advocate for consistency, for meal prepping. And then the favorite thing that I like, one of the top ones that you said is how your family is a copy paste of the parents. So it's really important for you, like the father and the mother, to be role models for the kids. And I think that that's not something that's done enough. And I know how difficult it is living and having children and all of that. So I'm not saying anything against people that don't do that, but that is the only way for them to learn, is to kind of be able to look up to their parents and copy paste what they do. So eat healthy, gym hard, and your kids will be pretty fantastic. They'll be fit if nothing else, which is good and healthy.
And also remember, with kids, you need to explain things to them. They're never too young to understand simple concepts. So, for example, little things like this is a candy, and we use this as a treat. We're not going to have this every day because this is something special because you did well. Or remember to eat your veggies. You have to eat your veggies in order for them to eat their veggies. And don't always try to mask everything. The problem is if you reconstruct everything, then they don't understand it in the simplest form. So, for example, if you keep putting cheese sauce on your broccoli because you want your kids to eat it, that's what they think it should taste like. But if you just teach them to eat the broccoli from the beginning, then they love it. My kids love it because they see we do it. To them, it's a treat.
That's so cute. Do you add nice spice as well in the air fryer?
Yes,
of course.
yes,
Yeah.
don't,
Don't have
and
it
make
plain.
it creative.
Sorry?
Yes, be creative. Put it on a cute little plate. Give them a little knife and fork that looks like a truck and you know what I mean, like an airplane.
Yeah.
If you make it interactive, I promise you they'll eat it.
That's so cute. And then just a last piece of advice for the mums out there. Well, what would you say to them? The ones pre, post, and everything in between.
You just need to start. Please do not think it's too late because it isn't. This can be the better you, if that makes sense. Yeah, and just honestly, the best thing I can say is just start. If your goal is to lose a little mom pooch, or just to be fit so you can run after your children, or you want to do a marathon. That's how I started. I wanted to do a marathon with my kids in the stroller. And
Did
that's
you
kind
do
of how I
that?
started. I did. I started with it, and then I decided, why not do bodybuilding while we're at it?
Wow, so you actually did a marathon with the kids in the stroller. 2 kids.
Yeah,
Two kids.
yeah. I've got the photo. We all dressed up as Nemo fish, Ozzy, myself, and the kids, and I popped them in the stroller. My son was 3 months old, and then we went and we ran.
And Ozzy took the other kid.
No, I put them both in the
You
stroller.
did both of them, and Ozzy just watched.
Yeah, I put it. Yeah, you had to carry the bags.
Oh, so he also did the marathon.
Yes, all of
Wow,
us
you guys
together.
are epic. Very cool. That's
And we were
nice.
giant Nemo fish.
Very cool. Wow. Yeah, I think that for most people that would be too extreme, but that's very, very cool. So well done to both of you for
You
that.
can walk it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be
Oh,
first. You just
walked
have to
it.
complete
You definitely
it.
walked it. Hey. I doubt it. No, but that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I look forward to seeing what comes in the next 4 weeks and then for the next shows and all of that after that. But please, good luck. And I hope to see you with your pro card very soon.
Remember, I'm a very competitive
I know.
person. I always joke. I always say to people, I'm like, if I had to do a race with my children, I'll kick them out of the way to win the race. Okay, like winning is winning.
I was not expecting that. I was expecting you to say I will dominate them. I wasn't expecting that I'll kick them out the way.
I will drop kick them out of the way if that means I'm winning.
They're going to listen to this podcast one day and be like, Mom, you weren't supposed to say that. That's hysterical. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Definitely. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to the Muscle Growth Podcast. If you found value in today's episode, we'd really appreciate it if you could leave us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It helps us grow and reach more people just like you. Don't forget to follow us on all major social media platforms, including Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and X. Find us at the Muscle Growth Podcast and at Reps with Roscoe. For more insights, exclusive content, and full episodes, visit themusclegrowthpodcast.com. Your support truly makes a difference, so please like, share, comment, and follow. We're grateful for every bit of it. Until next time, keep pushing your limits and staying focused on getting bigger, stronger, and better.